Ladies and gentlemen, gather close, for tonight we delve into the curious chronicles of a man whose very shadow seemed to hum with ill-gotten gains. His name, or at least the one he preferred, was Silas Blackwood, a name whispered in hushed tones, often followed by a sigh of exasperation or a sudden, chilling realization. He was not a villain of the common sort, you understand. No, Mr. Blackwood possessed a certain theatrical flair, a dramatic panache that elevated his deceptions to an art form. He was, in essence, a maestro of manipulation, conducting symphonies of avarice and gullibility. Mr. Blackwood's genius lay in his uncanny ability to perceive the deepest, most desperate desires lurking within the human heart. He didn't merely sell bridges. He sold the very idea of crossing them, of reaching a promised land of effortless prosperity. His victims, bless their naive souls, practically begged to be fleeced. He never forced a hand, never twisted an arm. Instead, he merely presented an irresistible illusion, a shimmering mirage of untold riches or profound wisdom. The mark, blinded by their own yearning, would then eagerly leap into the chasm he so artfully disguised as a golden opportunity. Consider, if you will, the unfortunate Mrs. Gable, a woman of considerable means, but even more considerable credulity. She yearned for spiritual enlightenment, a direct line to the cosmos. Mr. Blackwood, ever the obliging spiritualist, presented her with the celestial compass. This magnificent contraption, he explained, was crafted from meteorite fragments and ancient starlight, capable of aligning one's chakras with the galactic core. It was, of course, a cheap brass trinket adorned with glitter, purchased from a novelty shop. Yet, Mrs. Gable paid a king's ransom, convinced she was on the precipice of cosmic transcendence. She spent her days spinning the compass, muttering incantations, utterly oblivious to the fact that her spiritual guide was, in fact, guiding her straight into financial ruin. Mr. Blackwood, meanwhile, was already halfway to the next town, humming a jaunty tune. But even the most brilliant stars eventually burn out, and even the most cunning foxes sometimes leave a trail. Whispers began to follow Mr. Blackwood, not of his genius, but of his growing recklessness. A certain glint in his eye, a touch of overconfidence, suggested he was pushing his luck. There was a particular mark, a quiet, unassuming librarian named Miss Eleanor Finch, who seemed to possess an unnerving stillness. She listened to Mr. Blackwood's grand pronouncements with an unblinking gaze, a faint, almost imperceptible smile playing on her lips. He was attempting to sell her a first edition of a non-existent ancient grimoire, promising untold power. But Miss Finch merely nodded, her silence more unsettling than any protest. It was as if she knew something he didn't, a secret that threatened to unravel his carefully constructed world. The climax arrived not with a bang, but with a whimper and a rather peculiar delivery. Mr. Blackwood, having secured Miss Finch's substantial payment, found himself in possession of a rather ornate, antique music box she had insisted he take as a token of appreciation. Later that evening, as he counted his ill-gotten gains, he wound the music box. It played a haunting, melancholic tune. And then, from within its velvet-lined interior, a small, intricately folded note fluttered out. It was a single, perfectly penned sentence. The true value of a book, Mr. Blackwood, lies not in its price, but in the story it tells. And yours, I fear, is about to reach its final, rather predictable chapter. The next morning, Mr. Blackwood was gone, leaving behind only the music box and a lingering scent of regret. His victims, surprisingly, found a strange collective peace in his disappearance, a moral lesson learned, perhaps, at a rather steep price.